Good morning. No, it's not morning anymore. Just that quick. My name is Sheila Karuna. Welcome to Sassy Seer Sheila. As this is live on Sassy Seer Sheila, and if you're seeing this on New Light Streaming Love, it is the replay. Today is Saturday, September the 12th. No, sorry, the 13th, 2025. And I was going to be on here a little earlier. However, I had occasion to uh, walk down the street and visit with a neighbor and got to meet her for the first time. As some of you may recall, we moved. And so just meeting our neighbors for the first time. And what a lovely experience. She gifted me some herbs for to help with some inflammatory situations, and that was such a lovely exchange. And I don't know, with all the grief that I have been experiencing over the last couple of days, it was just a lovely exchange. So, what do I mean by that? I had tried to record Jason's writing about Charlie Kirk, and I couldn't. Oh, I did not realize you were in South Australia. Oh my goodness, I'm so glad that you could join today. I know that's quite a time difference. Isn't it quite late where you are? You know, like you're a day ahead, I think. Like for at least 14 hours, right? Um, because it is 1:05 p.m. Eastern time. So, and I think you're probably into Sunday already, aren't you? I would imagine. At any rate, um, oh my goodness, sweetie heart, you're up so late. 2:34 a.m. Um, just not able to sleep, I take it. Or are you a night owl? September 14th. Wow, Sunday. Yeah, that's well, I hope that you will be getting your rest, my love. That's so late or well, early, however you. Oh, thank you. I'm so glad. I'm actually quite glad you were able to tune in. Um, there is something. Oh, you're a night owl. Okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Actually, my great grandmother was quite the night owl. There is something that I feel led to share with you all. I tried to record it and I couldn't get through it. So hopefully I will be able to today. This is not Jason's. This came from Chad Prather. He is a public figure. His Facebook page is public. And so I have not asked his permission to read this, but I think it's important. And it certainly went to describe what I was feeling. He posted this on Facebook yesterday morning at 6:26 a.m. and it says, "Good morning. The reason you feel Charlie's death so deeply is because grief doesn't measure itself by proximity. It measures itself by meaning. You didn't have to know him personally to feel the sting of his absence, because when a voice like his goes silent, something in the atmosphere shifts. The reason it feels heavier than so many other tragedies is because your spirit recognizes that this is not just about a man. It is about a battle. Scripture says eternity is written on our hearts. And when someone who carried truth with boldness is suddenly gone, eternity aches within us. It's like our souls know instinctively that the darkness celebrated, and that strikes us at the core. The reason you can't shake it is because psychologically, we don't only attach ourselves to people, we attach ourselves to symbols. Charlie became a symbol of conviction in a time of compromise, courage in a time of fear. And when a symbol is struck down, it rattles something primal and eternal inside us. That's why even those who never met him feel it. There is a strange thread pulling at us, and it is not imagined, it is real. We are bound together by shared purpose, by shared longing for truth, by the Spirit of God Himself weaving us into a fabric that cannot be torn apart. This loss pulled at that fabric, and every one of us felt the tug. So if you've wondered why this hits so hard, it's because your soul knows this is bigger than news. This is bigger than politics. This is about eternity, about truth, and about the weight of a man whose life carried both. And he finished it by saying, "Love y'all." Now, I will be placing a link to this Facebook page because he is a public figure and his page is public. And so I will be placing a link to that, what I just read, in the show more section. And pardon me, I'm going to stop recording for a moment because I'm also going to put that out as a separate from this live. And now I'll record for New Light Streaming Love as a separate thing. So, well, good morning, Inspired Renegade. I'm so glad to see you back this morning. I'm so glad you were able to join us last night for the conversation with Jason Gray. It is my hope to have more conversations with Jason and with, those of you who feel led to come and have conversations. As I said, that was the whole point of this channel for me. I learned so much. Uh, just the act of having conversation, of of hearing concepts other than those that I have formed in my mind. Um, and I I I don't know. That's just the way it is for me. And so, oh wow, surrender to inner peace is the card that showed itself. And I feel so a whole lot more at peace today than I did yesterday. Honestly, I feel more cohesive actually. It was said of me, I was asked yesterday because it was said that I was a bit scattered, and I feel like that's a true statement. I was scattered yesterday and actually a bit last night for sure. And so something does feel to have shifted itself again within my own field. Now, like I said, I know now I know, I didn't used to know, but now I know that I feel the collective quite heavily sometimes. My rising, my ascendant is Aquarius, and that is, um, the sign of the collective in many ways. So I do know that that's something that I have going on. So at any rate, wow. It's just so interesting to me. This card came out Not the very last reading that I had, but it has come out before. I mean, this is a pretty big deck. It's Whale Song, and it is resonating. And it is a water card for sure, which is all about emotion and exactly what we're speaking on here. Exactly what I'm feeling, that I feel the collective quite heavily at times. So, um, what about you guys? Do you feel? I think that everybody can feel. I think that's what Chad Prather was alluding to there. That we are, because we are all connected. From my perspective, we are one being and separate all at the same time. It's a multi-dimensional situation we got going on here. And I know if one is not used to thinking in those terms, because we're brought up that it's true or false, not true and true and true and true and true and true, or false and false and false and false and false. But I really do think and feel quite differently about that now. Wow. Okay. So a couple of these uh, elemental energies cards came out from different areas of the deck, too. So that's interesting. Two of them. Roots of strength. Tap into the deep roots of the earth, finding strength and stability in the foundation beneath you, as well as breeze of change. We had something similar to this last week. Feel the gentle breeze of change inviting shifts and transformation into your life. I feel both of these actually, which is kind of interesting to me because of my feeling much more cohesive today. That's roots of strength. And I do feel deep transformational change for me personally and for the collective. B said, yes, I definitely feel the collective, but I only just now am understanding it's the collective I'm feeling. Same. I've had that same experience, my dear, for a long time. For a long time. I I would just think that what in the hell is wrong with me? I don't have anything to be upset about. I have nothing to be depressed about. I have nothing to be, I mean, and I'll tell you when I realized it. It was really only about 6 years ago when I started looking into the truth of who and what I am, who and what we are as humans. I was sitting in a restaurant with a friend, and I could not for the life of me. And I had heard this concept now of the empath. And we had just got to the restaurant and everything was great. And we sat down and looking at the menu, and all of a sudden, I'm feeling edgy and all kinds of out of sorts and just depressed. And then I heard it. 3 tables over, there was an argument, and that's when I heard it in my head. That's when I understood. I understood because I listened to the voice that said, "Oh, this is what you've been looking into," right? Because we had it. Lisa and I had some conversations about that sort of thing. That's when oh, okay, that makes, and that's when I understood it for the first time because of the change that happened just from walking from being out of that restaurant into the restaurant and sitting there in their field, just three tables down. It was a row of booths. The electromagnetic field of those people, we were having quite the emotional argument. I'd walked past them and my back was to them, and it just permeated me. So that served me in a lot of ways too, because I was slowing down and paying attention to my surroundings, to what was going on, and not so quick to think that it's me. When you're not taught to think about things like that, you don't even consider it. You don't know because it's not part of your psyche. But that by the time I had started having these conversations and being introduced to the idea that, hey, this is a possibility. This is a plausibility. This actually could be and could explain what you felt all your life and didn't understand. Oh boy, did that make a lot of sense. That one, huh? Okay. Rings of Time, 44. So just by having those conversations, just by exposing myself to other ideas and thoughts and feelings about how things work or maybe work, what a relief it is when we finally have an understanding why. Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's to the point now for me, that's why I loved what Jason said. We have to question everything. And some of the older videos from from the house that we moved out of, you'll see a cue on my wall behind me. Because for me, that phenomenon did more than what anybody thinks. It taught folks to ask questions. Quite frankly, that's what we got to do. Question everything, every single thing. Because near about nothing that I have exposed myself to since I was born on this planet almost 64 years ago is so. It might be partially so, it might be a little bit so, but it's not completely so. And a lot of it just outright is not so. Okay, so which card wants to go first? We already did the elements of change, the energy elementals. Ah, okay. Sylvanus. Wow, the fairy Sylvanus wants to be heard front and center. That is card 34, which is 7 numerologically. Sylvanus. Wow. The key words, the key phrases for Sylvanus are truth, cutting through deception, clarity. Brian called this painting the mask of truth, true dreaming. Sylvanus, who holds the mask of truth, is Lord of the Woodlands, his crown of antler branches signifying his authority. He represents the mask he presents the mask to us, supported by the fairy of aspiration as she welcomes us to our own potential. We wear the mask to look inward, seeing our true selves, not our false and fearful selves, but the beings of light that we truly are and what we have the potential to be. It becomes very difficult for us to make excuses and blame others for our failures and fears once we have seen what we could be if we were willing. What in fact we already are, but are not quite living up to. Boy, ain't that the truth. I put myself right there at the top of that list. I thought it was very odd that there was a mask of truth. It seemed to me that we use masks to hide truth rather than to reveal it. Oh no, Sylvanus assured me. First, you put the mask on and hide, and then you take it off to reveal the truth. Very, very. And that's true because you know what? I became quite adept at hiding the truth from myself. I'm a first class hider of truth from me. The truth of who I am, the truth of what's going on here, because then I got to take responsibility. That's a tall, tall order there. No, it's much easier to point the finger out there and have all of y'all take responsibility for yourselves. That was where I was. I can tell you. I see, I said, not certain that I did, but not sure I wanted to either. Besides, Sylvanus continued, your face is not your truth. Sometimes faces need to be hidden for the truth to be seen. Or sometimes you need to make a crack in consciousness, an aha moment, in order to see a truth you have been blind to. I feel like this is speaking to that uh, thing that I feel for myself in regards to my psyche, right? There's being showing myself things. I'm as if I'm not ready, if I'm not willing to look within me and see something, I'm not going to see it. Trust me. Ask me how I know that. You don't get to be 490 pounds without running from something, from the truth of who you are, right? There's that. From before the time we were born, people have been projecting their ideas, hopes, fears, and confusions on us. As we grow up, we accept many of these untrue projections as our reality, our partly false, partly true picture of ourselves. Brian wrote, the fairy Kundran holds one of the many sacred swords of fairyland. This one, forged long ago by mysterious dwarves, is laid across the cliff of the other world as a bridge to fairyland. The two-edged sword symbolizes the union, human world, with the world of fairy, as well as the union of the outer world of nature with the inner world of the psyche. It is the sword of clear-cut understanding and sharp perception. Once we cross into fairy, it becomes the sword of courage and noble service. Now, it goes on to say here of this card, at this time, you are discovering new truths about yourself. They are essential for you to know in order to create relationships based on mutual respect, affection, and trust. And that's true. I have learned so much about myself in the last 9 years, actually. Well, maybe a little bit more, actually, maybe more like 11 years since I started taking my health back into my own hands. Since I made the decision to stay on the planet. These things can only work if we see ourselves and others as we are. That takes courage, by the way, to really look at yourself. I'm kind of hard on myself, which is why I've adopted Cindy from Awakening with Spirit. She signs off every one of her readings with "Be gentle with yourselves." I want to be gentle with myself because I haven't been in my life. And if I can't be gentle with me, well, I ain't going to be gentle with you neither because you cannot give what you do not have. So if I'm not willing to be gentle with myself, I ain't going to be so gentle with you neither. That's the way that works, at least in my experience. Currently, both fairy and this world are functioning as a giant mirror in which we see ourselves in many surprising ways. People tend to dread this because we assume that we are worse than we think we are. This is far from necessarily true. Now is a time for finding out the false and misleading beliefs you have accepted and discovering that you are a better person than you thought and have the potential to accomplish more than you believed you could. If someone says you are better or simply different than you think you are, don't automatically reject this. Think it over carefully. You have more to give and more to enjoy than you have been giving yourself credit for. Wow, that's an interesting statement, isn't it? After what I just said about being gentle with myself. Wow. I love it when this happens. KB said life changing. Question everything and then question the answers we're given. Yes. My first name means truth. Oh, I love that. I love that. Okay, so the next card that wants to be read is from the Shaman's Dream Oracle by Colette Baron Reed, card number 61. Oh, it too is numerologically a 7. Isn't that interesting? For me, sevens have always resonated in some way as a divine sort of number. Really don't have a reasoning behind the why of that. It just feels like that to me, and I don't really feel like I have to have a why. But there we have it. Okay, so 61, whale song, and the key word resonating. Remembering, harmonizing, resonating. There are moments in life when you have a sense of deja vu, that you've visited this place, these feelings, this person before. And you know that a new opportunity to dance has come round again. Yet there is a haunting quality to this, melancholy, as life's mysterious fragility is also underlined, like a whale song that pleads for its simple notes to be matched by another. You have a short time to capture this essence and let it resonate in a way that is potentially transformative, but only if you don't turn away. Sometimes you may forget the moments of your humanity, your truest desires, because you've become so earthbound and calculating, striving, and doing. You're so overstimulated by the chase and what you're exposed to that you forget your heart. Now it's time to jump in the water and play and be reminded of your creative self, your collaborative impulse to sing along, seeking harmony, beauty, purpose, and meaning. At this moment, that is your exact invitation. You will achieve more than the plans you set in motion if you use this opportunity to explore, curious, and take a much needed break from what your mind thinks it needs to accomplish. Your heart is calling. Answer it. Wow. Well, that's interesting given that I've been called back to some of my creative endeavors. I feel like that's answering something for me, telling me, yes, that's good to do. And it also isn't a surprise to me because the inner peace and joy also presents itself to me when I do these crafts. I don't, I create to gift, right? Uh, my little crochet amigurumi animals, right? And I carry them around in a bag with me so that I can gift them as I feel nudged. I never create them if I'm not in the right frame of mind. And in the last little bit here, I've been feeling called to go back to that. So that in and of itself shows me a shift within me. So I'm going to jump in. Okay, so from the Journey of Love deck by Alana Fairchild and Rasuli, we have card number 44, Rings of Time. And this, for some reason, this is actually even putting me in mind of the Thinker statue in many ways. I don't know why that is, but it sort of holds that for me, sort of looks like it to me. Divine timing is granted to us as a gift. Sometimes, if we want to be further ahead than we are, that gift can seem like a restriction rather than a generous holding. Much like traffic that moves systematically so that not only one car, but as many can reach their destination according to a greater harmony and alignment. We are like individual we are like individual cars that must sometimes accept red lights, at other times can flow swiftly through many green lights. And I will tell you that I don't know why, but I'm being shown an experience that I had, and I feel called to share it. Lisa and I were on a trip. We were driving over from North Carolina into Tennessee. We were going to attend a trial that was part of Conscious Conversation Central's very first beginnings. And on that trip, her guidance said to stop at the next rest stop. Well, she wanted to argue with her guidance because she didn't need to tinkle. There was no reason to stop. She checked with me. I didn't need to tinkle. There was no reason to stop, but she did it anyway because we had both agreed we were going to follow our inner nudges no matter what. And so we pulled over and stretched our legs and hung out until she felt that it was time to get back on the road. We didn't want to be driving at night or anything like that. And we were going to be staying the night over there in Tennessee. Well, we had been traveling in a pack of cars, as you do on a highway. We get back on the road and we go up a little bit, and there was this horrific accident involving a truck that had glass on it. It was one of those kind of deals where they install glass panes. Could it be? And I'm telling you, for me, it absolutely was. Could it be that had we been there, we would have been in that accident? We were traveling with that glass truck. I remembered remarking on it that, wow, that's a lot of glass to be going that fast down the highway. So by divine timing and following the nudges, it would seem to me I got nothing to prove that we would have been, but gee willigers, I'm sure glad we weren't there. So I love that it even talked about different cars flowing differently. It is just this way, this systematic flow of divine energy through human manifestation. Your spiritual maturation is happening perfectly. There is no need to bother yourself about timing. When doors open, walk through. When there appear to be no such openings, rest and reflect. The rings of time serve you, beloved. This oracle brings you a message that the divine is completely responsible for the timing of every event, opportunity, and happening of grace in your life. All you need do is live your life. Everything else is taken care of for you. This applies to all of your plans, the unfolding of all your relationships. Let it all breathe, and the divine will happen as it will. I know that that's a really tough pill to swallow when you first start this, because it sure was for me. But I keep being shown this. And I was told all of 2022 into 2023 to relax into myself, that the larger part of me has got this. And the truth of it is, no matter what I want to label anything, mistake, pastime, whatever, it all serves and it all goes down exactly as it's meant to. And no amount of pushing, no amount of fretting over it not happening yet is going to change one iota of my experience. Oh, except that I won't be fretting if I just accept all of that. So the final card we have here is Fire, Wildfire, Moon. Wow, that's a lot of fire there. Oh my God, y'all. And it's a 9 on the card, but it's on page 25, which is another 7 numerologically. So we have 3 sevens in this reading. So that is so interesting to me. Oh, wow. And it's actually not on page 25, because I'm on page 25 and it's not there. Wait a minute. Did I look at the wrong thing? No, I did not. Fire, wildfire. Yes, I did look at the wrong thing. Ah, it's on page 21. So it's the Trinity, a 3 numerologically. Okay. Always good to check, man. When your temper is triggered by and the flames of emotion erupt in a sea of fiery rage, you, my love, are not in the present moment. And Jason spoke to that quite a bit last night, right? Not being in the present moment. Most of us, and we've been trained in that way, to either ruminate and suffer in the past for things that we can't do anything about, or live in an anxiety ridden state in regards to what is it going to happen, or whatever we think we want to happen, or whatever that is, right? We're trained in that manner. And then it becomes habit. And so getting out of that it takes some effort. Certainly has on my part anyway. These emotional flames are being stoked by past experiences that you are holding on to and projecting onto your now. It is time to let go of the past, dear one. These old traumas are bringing you down and blinding you to the seasonal changes that have occurred. You do not have to allow these negative emotions to wreak havoc upon your life. You do not have to continue to burden yourself with their weight and their memories and their scars. Let go of the pieces of your past that are no longer serving you. Let go of these old wounds. Be present and create new emotions from the present. Emotions that serve you and uplift you and add positive vibrations to the collective. Well, I, for one, am recognizing that within myself that it's a much easier thing for me to do now, to relax into myself, to really surrender to that inner peace, right? Cultivate inner peace on a daily basis in quiet, meditative moments. Focus on the stillness within and enjoy this inner refuge. Others will feel your good vibes too, and your life will flow more easily. And I do feel like that's a very true statement, or at least it certainly has been for me. Everyone will experience their own, I like to say that your individual mileage absolutely will vary, um, depending on where you are in your own processing of things, your own psyche, right? Wow, I loved today's reading. It actually really shows me the truth of my own transformative vibe, where I'm moving from and to. I hope this was helpful to you. I hope that you will subscribe if you're new, come back again if you're not. Reach out to me at consciousconversationcentral@gmail.com if you want to have a conversation, whether it's recorded and shared on YouTube or not. I meet with people all the time and don't put the conversation out on YouTube. So it's not a requirement. It used to be back when I thought everything had to be shared. And there was something else I wanted to share, but for some reason it's eluding me. So I'm just going to let that go. I love you guys. I am going to say again, be gentle on yourselves as I learn how to be gentle with myself. Realize that each of us have our own perspective. And that perspective is a compilation of everything we've ever experienced in our entire lives. That includes the languaging that we speak. We speak different languages. Even if you speak English and I speak English, you're speaking your version, I'm speaking my version. There can be no other way. It has to do with all of that conditioning. Different words mean different things to different people. I'll tell you that ever since I've really understood that to be a truth, and it seems to be a universal truth, it makes it so much easier to move through my life because I've become very fond now of saying, now, this is what I hear you saying. Is that what you mean? Because I take that into account. It started being shown to me very early on that one person's definition of a word is not the same as mine. And that's okay. It's absolutely to be expected, in my view. Taking that into account has changed things for me in ways that I can't even express. It certainly has made my life a lot easier. Until we meet again, my friends, be well.